In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of Pogs and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things. It's called Best Gen because we all roughly come from the same gen, and we happen to think that it's the best, not because we people are better, but because our entertainment was. So strap on in and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore while simultaneously complaining about the degenerate filth that sludges out of the steam pipes of modern woke Hollywood. How's it going, everybody? I wanted to see how fast I could do that.
That's pretty good.
I don't think I missed anything.
I don't think so, yeah. I think you got it pretty consistent.
I almost did it in one breath.
Yep.
I haven't had the same breath strength since COVID. I'm a singer, and recording songs is really hard now. How's everybody doing? I already asked that.
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
We're doing well. Well enough. I mean, besides what we're going to talk about today, I'm looking up.
Oh, we've got Jared, whom we missed last week and definitely needed. So he's got 4 episodes of pent up rage to expel from his being. Corwin, he just texted me. He said he's just got guests leaving his house, and so he will be on in a few minutes. He just started reading the Wheel of Time series. He's on book 3, and he is pissed. So he should be joining in a little bit. We've got Bearded. We've got other Bearded, both named Jared. My cousin. One's my brother's friend, who I just know by default, I guess.
I kind of just kept myself in after being here for a little time.
I haven't heard back from David.
Nerd things.
I haven't heard back from David. I don't know if he's showing up. But the Angry Mexa has been sick these last couple of weeks, as have I. So he's taking it easy. He's taking a break. But I might do a stream with him sometime during the week. But we love him. We miss him. Wish him good health. I love my kids, but hot dang, I hate them sometimes because every time they get sick, they get me sick. Because I can't just not take care of a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I spent 2 days just cleaning up vomit and getting sneezed directly into my mouth. So I got a cold, and then I got the flu. And it's been fun.
Don't you love your little
drink out of the wrong cup? This one's got ice. This is making it cold. Yes, I am repping. I'm shilling for the Rippaverse this week, just because I got my box. So I got a shirt, and I got a free hat. And you don't take the stickers off of hats, apparently, because reasons. But I do have a question for you. Do you go headphones, or do you go headphones hat? I don't know what's better. I'm bad with hats.
I can't tell you either. I don't wear them.
Yeah. I think because I could see that you were trying the different combinations earlier.
I don't think that
better. Headphones hat works at all.
Well,
this actually Yeah,
I think you could go headphones hat, but you'd have to change the size of the hat. Yeah, I'd have to open it up in the back.
yeah.
Keyboard says
Or
hat, then headphones.
if you could have the headphones going around the back instead of over the top.
Yeah, these
I
ones
don't
don't.
know. Yeah, they don't do that very well.
These are like studio headphones.
Studio ones. Yeah, yeah. That was one of my other thoughts. But I think that covering up the Rippaverse. Yeah. I think that hat then headphones makes the
Mark
most
Clark
sense.
says no hat because I do look bad in hats. I know. Corwin, we were just talking about him.
What up?
How's
Hi.
it going?
We're here.
We
are.
are ready. We
And they are not.
before we talk before we talk about the Wheel of Time though, Bearded Jared has to give us his weekly Ahsoka update, which if it takes more than 5 minutes, I'm just gonna kick him from the stream.
Just kick me off.
But I thought we'd play a game like we did last time where I haven't watched since episode 1 and we're on episode 4 now. And should I give my recap of having not seen Ahsoka?
Do it.
Okay, so episode 4 starts with Ahsoka crossing her arms and judgmentally looking into the distance while talking to 6 other female characters about how Force is female and strong, and I'm assuming that it's like it's been a weekly new piece of the map every week, and so this week they're probably done with the map by now, but they're having trouble with the navigation or something because it's in a galaxy far, far away. So they probably had to dig up the corpse of George Lucas and piss all over it to get the next piece of the puzzle.
That is the logical step. Yeah.
And then crazy white-haired, not Sith Jedi lady shows up, and she has a sword fight with the droid.
Sith Jedi.
Am I right?
The droid fought another droid, but other than that, you're pretty much on.
There was a droid fight.
There wasn't the
I am unstoppable.
Yep. He fought against some other of those HK looking droids that tried to attack him and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. They haven't been
so
looking for
good.
pieces of the map, but they are just now. They've gotten to the area where they're going to take off from and follow the map where it's supposed to be going. So you're getting close. We can read the maps now.
Of course we can get maps. Okay, but
Isn't
real
there
question.
isn't there some sort of like flashback to Anakin or something like that? Like
That was in
So,
episode 3. I saw it
my bad.
on
Okay,
Twitter.
sorry.
It was actually the end of episode 4.
That's where they tease Starkiller because he
he
says you weren't my only apprentice or something like that. I think.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Wait, does he not deliver the line "You weren't my only apprentice"?
Not that I.
Oh, okay. I think maybe that was just fan fiction on Twitter then.
Yeah, probably. And a lot of people would be excited about that. Although we did get confirmation that there was a second not Sith that looked like it looked straight up like one of the Inquisitors. It has one of the Inquisitor spinny lightsabers, right?
Oh.
That you've seen her fight a little bit, and we found out that that's not a regular person or something because Ahsoka killed it and it like exploded into green smoke, like happened when Savage died in Clone Wars.
Yeah, I didn't watch that crap.
Yeah. And I don't know. I thought that the fights were pretty good, but David, I was talking to David earlier this week, and he had said that he had issues with some of those, but there were some really cool tense fights between Ahsoka and Baylan, the Ray Stevens character. Ray Stevens got a pretty cool thing going on there. And the one thing that I'll say that you guys can identify with,
It's a risky move, giving the one man in the show some screen time.
right? The one thing is that they did what I was kind of hoping they wouldn't do, and you guys won't be surprised, but I'm like, oh, I'm actually still on board anyway. They're going back to the world between worlds, which is something that they did at the end of, or in the middle of, sort of towards the end.
Time travel, everybody.
Yep. I've been listening to a lot of theories that have a lot to do with how that's when Dave Filoni's talked about it. He says he doesn't view it as time travel, and it's kind of a weird little thing. So we'll see how he handles it. Like I said, it's what I did. It's what I explicitly wanted them not to do, but I was surprised at myself that I'm still on board because you guys know, like, yes, I am a Star Wars shill and I will go for all things Star Wars, but I will also call out when things like Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett have a lot of crap in them, and Ahsoka has been a lot better than most. So
it's not as bad, like just stupid plot wise. The plot is pretty stupid from the one episode that I've watched. I just can't stand the dialogue. It's so pretentious and boring.
Yeah, it gets a little bit better, but not a ton, So I think there's a lot of room to improve there. I think there is definitely a degree of progress that has to be made from going from animation to
Shots fired. Shots fired. He's a closet Kenobi fan.
I could almost like Kenobi, and I think I said last time where it's like if I was to watch I haven't been able to bring myself to actually watch the 2 hour or whatever
the movie cut.
The movie cut. I think I would actually almost really like the movie cut, but the show really kind of let you down. Anyway. Yeah, and then what happens is she shows up in that world between worlds at the very end of the episode. It looks like she gets knocked off the side of a cliff, and Sabine actually gives in and decides to help out with or gives over the map that they stole back to the bad not Sith people, and goes off with the not Sith people to the far galaxy where they're going to find Thrawn.
Wait, they're working together now?
Sabine kind of threw her lot in with the not Sith people. But, yeah.
It's bad.
I just
have you actually been watching it? It sounds like neither Jared nor
I
Alan.
cannot bring
I've been
myself
watching
to
it.
care about Star Wars anymore.
I've been watching it. And I like it. I like it.
We love you too, Nerdporial.
But there is a few. There's quite a bit of. There's just quite a bit of things. I'm just like, all right, well.
Yeah.
They did that.
Would you disagree that it is the best thing we've had since at least Mando season 2?
Yes.
Which really isn't saying anything, but I'd say it's around that area.
It's Mando season 2. It's on equivalent with Andor.
I was going to say, I guess Andor, a lot of people have liked that a little bit better, but I enjoyed this one. It's got a little bit more action than Andor did, but a little more engaging to me.
I don't like Sabine's character at all. She hasn't grown up since the Clone Wars, or not the Clone Wars, since Rebels.
Rebels.
She hasn't grown up at all.
I completely agree. She definitely does not seem like she's grown up at all. I actually have a hard time connecting her to the person she was in Rebels. I almost feel like she was more mature in Rebels than she is here.
Yeah, they're giving her a temper tantrum vibe.
Mm-hmm.
When she threw in with the not Sith. That was
yeah. Although the bit where Ahsoka takes the blonde Sith lady and chucks her against the wall, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean the fight scenes are really good. They do good on the fight scenes and stuff. To answer the Nerdporia, do I think she's going to pull Ezra through? The answer is no, because then they would have to have a man as one of the main characters, and heaven forbid they do that. In this show, it just seems like oh, it's a man, and he's white. He's got to be evil. Like that's just the at this point Disney's becoming it's a very trope and in news media right now. If there's a male who is white, that's a bad guy, or he's going to be a good guy and then he's going to turn into a bad guy. Like betrayal, he's a double agent. Male white.
I think the difference being,
but apart from politics, but still politics. No, they're not going to pull Ezra through because then they would have to cast. And I'm being serious here. Then they would have to cast a male other than the bad guy. They'd have to cast a male as a main role, and Kathleen Kennedy's not going to do that.
I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there as a main character, but I agree. I don't think she's going to pull him through. But I will say though too, Balin seems to be seems actually to be a really cool, complex.
Your name gets cut off on the
chat,
the Streamlabs chat.
Yeah, and your name gets cut off. The last one is EA. So
so Ezra's been cast. He's there, but so my main thing to respond to you is that the main bad guy, not Sith guy, he looks like he's going to turn out to be a little more complex than just the bad guy.
Which is true. That I will give it.
So
I do have some of the characters I do have a really hard time getting into. I really do. I have a hard time getting into it. I like Ahsoka's character. I have a really hard time with Sabine's character. I like the bad guys. The bad guys in it are good.
Bad guys are pretty cool.
The fight scenes are really good. I have a really hard time. I can't even remember her name, but the Asian bad guy, the one who's like pulling.
Yeah, Morgan, I think is her name.
Morgan. I have a
great name for a villain.
I have a really hard time taking her seriously. Every time she has a screen time, I'm just like, wow, she sucks. I don't take. Also, because it's way too close of a casting, I thought for sure it was the same casting. Is it the same person that she cast in Mandalorian when Mando helps Ahsoka?
Yes,
it is. That's who it's supposed to be.
All right, that makes a little more sense. I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
She's a terrible actress. She over delivers every single one of her lines.
She's a theater actress. She's not a terrible actress.
Yeah.
She is a classically trained Broadway live stage actress where that stuff needs to take place.
Needs to be there. Yeah.
But she's not a Hollywood actress.
We had the same problem with we had a lot of other problems as well, but we also had the same problem with the person that played Reva in Obi-Wan, where like she's a theater actress and she was doing theater acting, not TV or movie acting. This lady is not as bad.
Yeah, she's supposed to be
a Dathomir. The
definitely looks the part.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have the sniper. You have the Asian sniper that Mando has to go capture. That Boba Fett saves.
That's played by
another bad guy. That's a bad girl. And I'm not again.
I heard.
I have a hard time. Distinguishing between those two. Like it's just a. But I don't like her. I don't like her acting.
See, and I don't, especially because that other one, the one that the sniper that Amanda goes after, I know that actress from a lot of other stuff. She's the voice of Mulan in the Mulan animated show.
She's really good. I'm not saying she's
awesome,
not,
and I've seen her in
I liked her stuff.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything.
I'm just saying.
So the other lady doesn't correlate with me at all.
I'm just saying I have a hard time distinguishing between the two, just because the worlds are all combined.
Yeah,
and they do look very similar. They do look very similar.
I
don't have an issue with comparing the two of them, but yeah.
The episode that she was first in was the one you mentioned in season 2 of Mando, where she has a Beskar spear and fights against Ahsoka's dual white sabers, and that is the single worst fight choreography I've ever seen on screen.
And that's the sad part.
It is so bad.
The Ahsoka show, the fight choreography actually is pretty good. They do it justice, in my opinion.
The one in episode 1 was bad. But I haven't watched
the whole thing. What you guys have seen around is the episode does end with her in the world between worlds, and she sees Anakin talking to her and calls her Snips and everything. So
I also heard that the Twi'lek has just a regular human kid.
Yeah, he has green hair. That's consistent from the Rebel show.
No, it's not.
The Rebel show.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures. It's not. They're like half breeds between human and Twi'lek relationships.
So in the show, in Rebels, the very closing scenes, you see Hera with her kid, and he looks like a human kid. Okay. Maybe a little funky looking ears and green hair.
Okay, so canon was broken a long time ago, is what you're saying. Right?
Well, so that's the other thing though too, is it's not a purely he's not purely Twi'lek. He's part human because it's Kanan's kid.
Yeah.
So he's half human.
That is canon, and it's good. Rebels actually, I like Rebels. It was good.
They have had Twi'lek human relationships. They had like half aliens before that weren't this character, and they actually.
If that ever happened, it would have been either in comic books that I haven't read or EU stuff that is no longer canon or whatever. So yeah, everything that's been shown on canon has always been. The only one that we've seen on screen has ever been this one. So
yeah, right. You've also got because he's a boy.
Right, I understand. I thought he was arguing a different point. I get that it's canon to Rebels, which I also hate. So
Rebels.
How much of it have you actually seen? How much of
I
Rebels
like
have you watched?
Rebels. I like Rebels.
can't
I
stand
like the Clone Wars. I like Rebels, but the live stuff, yeah, this is good. It's all right. I'll keep watching it, but I'm not like enthralled.
Yeah, I'm having fun
You guys-
with it.
You guys ready to talk about Wheel of Time?
Yeah, I've got.
this seems like it's been more than 5 minutes.
Okay, first off, we got to play a game. Bearded Jared gets, because he hasn't read the books, he gets to play a quick game called Guess Who's the Main Character, based on word count for the first 4 episodes of season 2.
Word count, huh? Nice. Okay. I know I've heard you guys talk about Nynaeve a lot. That's a name that I've heard around, and obviously you've got Lindarin up there. You know that. So I mean, very obviously you've got these ones that are right up at the top that have to be the main characters, right?
Wrong-o!
Lanfear. That one's another name I've seen a lot or heard a lot. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why Leandrin is so prominent this season. She's not a good actress. But no, you have to go down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rand is number 8, and he is one of the 3 main characters.
He is.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the name.
There's 6.
If you want the other 2 main characters, you have to go 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
I'm gonna say there is. I'm gonna argue that there's 5 main characters.
Eventually.
In book 3, okay, in book 2 and book 3. In book 1, it is all Rand. In book 2, it is Rand and Matt, and then you have Egwene, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I'm going to just say Ensai because I don't even.
You actually get quite a few. You get quite a few viewpoint chapters.
The viewpoint characters in the book is Rand, Matt, Perrin, Egwene, and Nynaeve.
And
those
are
the 5 main characters in the
pretty
book.
high up there on the list.
Yes.
Nynaeve is number 2, but then you've got Rand at 8.
Egwene is 5.
You've got Egwene at 5, Rand at 8, Matt and Perrin all the way down at the
15
bottom.
and 16.
Mm-hmm.
They have the same word count as Bail Doman in 1 episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
So on Wheel of Time, are we diving into it?
We're starting.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about it last week.
I know we talked about it last week. I mean, we've had it because I've been, I can come on when I can come on. It's not because I'm going through the middle of the books right now. So that was
You're on book 3.
I'm on book 3. I finished book 3 last night.
Nice. What?
Way to go.
It's good, right?
Yes, yeah, it's really good.
How about that ending?
The ending is phenomenal.
You love how just like
I've
Robert
got
Jordan scatters the chessboard. Everybody goes everywhere, and then they all just magically fit together at the end, and it's not forced at all. You're like, oh wow, that was.
I've got 4, 5, and 6 ready to go.
Nice.
It's still in the plastic. I've got to open it up, but I've got 4, 5, and 6 ready to go. The show is not the books. The show is not the books, and that's what me and Alan talked about last night.
That's a good point. I didn't even know when episode 4 was supposed to air. I was checking on Thursday because I was like, it's supposed to air on Friday, but then the last time they moved it up, there was nothing on like Thursday morning. You couldn't figure out when the episode was supposed to drop. There was no announcement or anything saying it's airing tonight at 7. But it aired.
It's just not Wheel of Time. That's what you've just got to understand that the shows at this point have altered so many characters in extreme ways. It's not the Wheel of Time. They've altered canon. They've altered the mythology. They've altered personalities. They've done basically what this is
thrown the world building in the garbage.
They've thrown the world building into complete, because like what I've found out about Robert Jordan in his books, and I understand you can't translate books entirely to shows. I get that. But he will start a world building process that pays off a book or 2 later, or a book later.
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll start something in the beginning of the book, and then at the end of the book, it comes through, and it's a big, important piece in book. Like a thing, it's a big, important piece that he started in book 1 plays a lot more into it in book 3, and you didn't see it coming. Who's the guy who's directing and writing? What's the guy's name?
Rafe Judkins.
Rafe Judkins. This is his fan fiction, and we all know from his past, it's his. If he had it his way, it would be a freaking Pornhub account fan fiction. If we had it his true way, I mean, it's bad when Amazon and some of these super left leaning have to look at him and go, "Hold on, pull back. We can't show real life fingering on TV." Okay, because that was his thing. Right.
What's funny is everyone wanted a new Game of Thrones, but Amazon had to tone down Rafe Judkins' script because it was too sexual.
It would have been on Pornhub, or we can't say Cornhub. We can't say because it'll get money. Well, it'll be on Cornhub. It was going to be on Cornhub.
Thank you, the Honey Bun Empress. I like the new shirt too. I got it yesterday.
So this is his fan fiction. That's what this is. It's the writer's fan fiction, and they are making their own characters, and they're changing the characters into who they want and how they want it. And it is not Wheel of Time. The characters are Matt is completely different in the books. Perrin is completely different in the books. Rand completely different in the books. Nynaeve is pretty much the same. She's a witch in the in the books. She's terrible. Egwene, same. They're pretty much the same.
Egwene is way worse in the show, though. Like, Egwene gets annoying in the books, but show Egwene is like just a bad person.
Yeah, but Matt, the thing that kills me is like Matt. Matt is like one of the most good souls in the book, and they completely destroyed his character in the shows. In the book, everything that happens, everything that Matt does, from not entering with them in the ways in season 1, which is like episode 6 or 7 or whatever,
yes, it
to
is.
Now is completely false.
It's the opposite of his characterization. And when it happened in season 1, the excuse was, well, we lost the actor, so we had to do something. Ding, 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 ding. In episode 4, he does it again, buddy.
And
episode 3.
He's a thief. Going back to episode 1, he's a thief. In the books, he is not a thief. He's not a thief. In the books, he abhors thievery. There's even times when he's starving and he doesn't.
He says, "I will never stoop to
thievery."
Stealing.
He's very good at games. He's very good at dice. He's very good at gambling games, and so that's how he makes his living while he's traveling a lot is by gambling.
You finally got to his luck powers.
His luck powers.
When he falls off when he's getting chased. In book 2, when he's getting chased by the assassin, or book 3?
3.
It's book 3. He's getting chased by the assassin on the rooftops, and he like falls off, and the guy just like accidentally stabs himself. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Luck powers. So but he's not a thief. He's never has been a thief. And yet they're making him this evil, awful, terrible person.
Morally opposed to thievery to the point where he would die before he ever stole anything.
Right. And his dad in the show, they made his dad.
That is one of the most morally upstanding citizens of all time.
Yeah, in the book,
his one defining character trait is that he's loyal.
Perrin, and so swapping to Matt, Perrin in the books, he's not this passive. I'm never going to hurt anybody. I can speak to wolves, and I can't. He's actually. He abhors violence, but he's really good at it.
Do you like how they still haven't given him an axe?
Yeah, they haven't. He's had an axe.
I know.
The one scene where in episode 3, I believe, where he gets to fight, they give him a chair leg, and he whacks a guy in the head once and then throws it away, and then decides that tackling someone is the best strategy. And then he rolls around in the river while everyone else fights.
He's a boss in the books. Especially with his powers coming out.
He kills a Trolloc. He kills a Trolloc with his bare hands in book 2.
Yeah, and fades in book 3. He kills a Fade.
It's the beginning. 3. It's the beginning of book 3.
Yeah, beginning of book 3, because he turns into like this half wolf, and part of his struggle is he's struggling with remaining human and staying a wolf, and having this wolf power that is very rare. And so he is this boss of a character, and he abhors violence, but he knows it has to be done. Even to the point where one of the traveling peoples comes at books 3, and it's like he knows this person's going to die because Min sees things about her.
Yeah, he's trying to convince them to pick up the sword, and they're like, no, because of the way of the leaf. And stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to convince them. And then later on in the books, spoiler alert, okay, people, I'm sorry, I'll spoiler. Later on in the books, he finally realizes like he doesn't want to carry his axe anymore. So he embeds it in a tree and makes a hammer. And he picks up a hammer because he's still a blacksmith. And so he's like a hammer. An axe is meant just to kill, but a hammer can create and kill. It's a tool depending on the needs that I need to use. And that's how he justifies his pacifism and his willingness to fight for what's right. And here in the shows, they're just like, oh, he's this yellow-eyed pussycat.
Literally just has his mouth open the entire show.
So they've destroyed him. They've destroyed Rand's character entirely.
Absolutely destroyed.
Rand's character is completely
banging Lanfear for 4 episodes.
Yeah, there's no Rand. Yeah, they've destroyed nothing about Rand since what episode would you say, Alan? I mean, it was similar. Or Jared, what episode Rand? What would you think that Rand is no longer Rand?
Well, I think they killed him off at the end of season 1.
Season 1,
and that's definitely when they're like, okay, like this is I'd say it's probably late in season 1 because
episode not 8, like the second to last episode, right?
Yeah, I'd say probably around there because the whole thing, the whole thing about book 2, right, is that Rand and Perrin and Matt, they all go on this adventure, but Rand's trying to escape because he's like,
he knows that it starts off saying, I'm probably the Dragon Reborn now, and that means everyone is going to try and use me. Yeah, so I want to get the heck out of here, but I can't because Matt will die.
Yeah, so he's like, hey, I've got to be loyal to my friends. I've got to make sure that I do this and help my friends out. But yeah, because Matt literally is dying, right, from this poison that this dagger is. So he's like, look, I've got to do whatever I can to help Matt out. And so killing him off.
Well, rather than taking the opportunity to get the heck away from the Aes Sedai, he gives up his life, basically, so that he can save his best friend.
Yeah, right. And that's what's been frustrating is that this whole season
has been a jerk to him because he's being corrupted by Matt's not being nice, and he's still trying to help him out because he's being corrupted by the dagger.
It was definitely last season that they ruined Rand for sure.
When his season finale was, I'm going to defeat evil with the power of boners. That was it for me.
Yeah, disappointing for sure.
Corin, do you love how season 1 ended with I'm not gonna fall for the dark one's lies because I love Egwene so much, and then season 2 starts with him banging Lanfear?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
It's not Wheel of Time. It's not. So if you guys are watching it, like anyone who's watching, the books are very good. They can take a little bit to get into. Once you get into the world building, like I've gone through book 1 and 2 and 3 all in about a month, and that's crazy considering they're thicker books. They're big books. I've gone through 1, 2, and 3 all in about, and I can say it's 2 months because I've also read the first 3 Harry Potters. But it's taken me roughly about a month to get through the 3 of them. And I'm excited for 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to read all the way to the end, and there's 15 books.
15 with a prequel.
Yeah, prequel. Yeah,
prequel. So
which you should read. It's good.
Okay, so I'll get into there. But this is not Wheel of Time. Even to the little stuff like the Aiel, it's a big. And I was telling Alan this last night. So if you guys watching, part of the book is Rand, since he's the main character of the Dragon Reborn, he really struggles with his identity because everyone's telling them. Or telling him that he's an Aiel, and Aiel are these warrior people taken pretty much from Dune. Yes. Robert Jordan, we talked about this last night as well.
They're heavily inspired by the Fremen, yes.
Heavily inspired by Dune's Fremen, with a few twists, but they're these tall. Culturally, yeah. They're these tall, fair-skinned, redhead. They're supposed to be out of place. They're supposed to look weird. You're supposed to be able to look at them in a crowd and be like, "That's an Aiel." And so Rand being an Aiel when he's talking to kings and queens and lords and ladies and powerful people, they're all like, what is an Aiel doing here? Like, because no one really likes the Aiel because they're these warrior people that no one understands. So he's like, I'm not an Aiel. I'm a sheep herder from Two Rivers. Like, I'm a farmer. And they're like, bull crap. You're not a farmer. You're an Aiel. And that's part of his internal struggle, is what he was raised as a farmer and what his biological upbringings, what his biological self is, and being the Dragon Reborn. They've totally gotten rid of that entirely. And that's actually a big part of the books, because he mentions it constantly to people. No, I'm a farmer. I'm supposed to go back. I'm not an Aiel. I'm not this warrior god. I'm just a freaking sheep herder.
Well, and I think they've tried to show that a little bit with him shaving his hair, like when he goes and talks to Logain, which, by the way, is ridiculous that they've already got him talking to Logain. But anyway, like they have him mention, they're like, hey, I see the roots, I see the red in your roots. It's like, okay, that's like the laziest way that you could show this struggle, with him trying to figure out what.
I love that they
as an
justified
Aiel and
that
all
choice
stuff.
by having Moraine talk to the guards. And have you seen anyone with red head? I mean, unless he like shaved his head, you wouldn't. I'm just looking for a redhead boy, and you're like, this is so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
So I've heard you guys talking a lot about this idea with these allele being the redheads and standing out and being very different that way.
Aiel.
I almost wonder if they're wanting to put forward some, and I don't know enough about the rest of the stories to know what other potential problems this could cause or anything like that. But what if they ended up doing a little bit more obvious parallel of like, okay, instead of pale with red hair, but we do a consistent, this is what Aiels look like, and they make them black or something like that. And they play along with that idea of like, in this world or culture, people don't like them because they look different. And they could make some sort of social commentary that they might want to do.
And they
saying,
could.
instead of being this, but at the very least, it would be consistent with this is what these kind of people look like, as opposed to what you've pointed out before, which is that there are a bunch of people that don't look like this that are, and then there are people that do look like this that aren't. And like, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah, no, the all of the casting I've seen for Aiel, they're all like super diverse. Like, it's a mix.
It's a very wide mix, which
it's
again,
not all
fine,
white,
whatever.
it's
You guys
black,
want to have
it's
diversity,
all...
but at the same time, doesn't work for what this story is. It's talking about the clash of these cultures, and so
they could have had diversity.
Yeah.
They could have had diversity with the casting. All they would have had to do is dye hair red. That's it.
Yeah.
If they would have just dyed hair red, fiery red, doesn't matter the skin color. I get it because it's the 21st century and I'm fine with that. But if they would have just dyed everyone's hair to a very deep crimson red, where you're black but you're redhead, what's weirder than
you can't do that. It would be racist. They cast a beautiful black woman with dreadlocks. They're not. If you dye your hair red, that you lose points.
Asian, white, black. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's if they wanted to do that, that's what they could have done, dude. But they're not. And I guess the other point is, like, I don't know what's going to happen to this. I don't know what's going to happen. Rand never has sex with Lanfear. Never happens.
Doesn't even kiss her.
Doesn't even kiss her. Doesn't happen to the book. Matt never abandons his friends. Perrin never not picks up a weapon. Egwene is in the books. I think she's annoying in the books, but more annoying than even the show. That's just me. But Egwene is not. It's just terrible. Like,
starts off
I don't know
annoying.
what they're doing with the characters.
Yeah.
This is not Wheel of Time.
No.
What I've noticed is literally like they're kind of getting to the same points, right? Like, they're getting to the point where, okay, the three ladies are going to go to Kyrienin, but
don't
like,
talk about that scene because it's so dumb.
But the way that they're getting to these points is so weird. Like having this whole relationship with
Leandrin,
with Leanne and her. I'm like,
no, I figured it out.
That did not happen.
So the White Cloaks figured it out. She's a victim of sexual assault, which is why it's probably the result of her son. And so that's why she's working for the Dark Ones. She's sympathetic. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like this whole son idea. Like, I'm like,
so stupid.
Where
it's
does
so
this,
dumb.
what? Like, why are they throwing
anything.
stuff like that? Okay, so like, I understand. Sure, you maybe want to give a little bit more backstory to these characters. Yeah, I get that. Like, fine, that's okay. Like, that can be part of your story. But the way that they're doing it is they're telling these stories, and then they're like, oh, but hold on, we got to get to Kyrienin. Okay, so hold on, this story Oh yeah, and then they go to Kyrianen. It's like they're not even really connected. I'm like,
the whole the show season 2 specifically, it keeps shooting itself in the foot, and it makes absolutely no sense. We talked about this last week. They have no idea how tension or like build up or anything works in screenwriting. So they in episode 2, you come across the dead Fade who's been nailed to a wall, and they say, "What a Fade! Who could have possibly done this?"
and then they walk away.
This
Fades
is
are too strong.
anything
You
that
can't
could have
kill a
done this
Fade.
to a Fade. Man, that's something messed up. Except in episode 1, we saw Lan and Moraine kill like 30 Fades together. And then a couple other Aes Sedai showed up and killed about 100 more Fades. Lan single-handedly fought against 6 Fades by himself and survived, okay? So then the reveal of a dead Fade means absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Then, what was the other time they did it? I had 3 examples, and I'm forgetting the second one. Whatever. I'll just skip to the third one with the Leandrin betrayal reveal, which happens at the end of episode 4.
Yeah.
They tell you, they ruin the surprise. They have Min get confronted by Ishamael, and he says, "Yeah, I'm working with Leandrin. She's a dark friend." Because Leandrin sent him there to meet her friend. Turns out it's the literal devil. And Min decides to become a dark friend.
Yeah, which was so dumb.
What the hell?
Yeah, on that, Min is never a dark friend.
Like, if you wanted it to be shocking, you make Leandrin sympathetic, which I thought that's what they were doing. They're like, oh, they're going to make Leandrin super sympathetic so that it's a huge shock when she betrays them. Except they give it away before the betrayal. They tell you she's a dark friend.
And you got to remember,
the scene where they're with her has zero tension.
And you got to remember, Min was never a dark friend in the books.
No.
She's never. She's one of the only people that keeps Rand from going insane.
Yeah,
like that's her whole character. Even Rand says, it's in one of the front of the books. Even Rand says, like, where would I have been without you? He tells her this. He's like, I would have fallen to darkness without you. And they make her. And this isn't it's not Wheel of Time. Now I'm going to do a quick comparison to this. They're rewriting Wheel of Time. They wanted another Game of Thrones. Everybody loved Game of Thrones season 1, season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It started to go a little, and then they had to write 8 because 7 and 8 hasn't been written yet by George R.R. Martin. He hasn't finished the books, which I doubt he ever will. He's going to die because he's fat. Heart attack. He's gonna have a heart attack before the books are dying, and so he's just gonna have to contact Brandon Sanderson to finish out book. Like that's just gonna happen. Okay,
hey, they're already friends, so
yeah, they're already friends. Brandon Sanderson is gonna finish Game of Thrones, people. Like I'm calling it right now. Okay,
which is just gonna delay him finishing his own freaking book.
You gotta remember the last Game of Thrones book came out it's been like 10 years, like 15 years. He hasn't written the next book. Anyway, the TV writers did a very good job following. And granted, there's a lot of things, if you've read Game of Thrones, there's a lot of subplots. There's a lot of things that they had to drop for the TV show, but they did a very good job following his story through most of the TV show. And people loved it because guess what? He's a good writer. He has a story. He's built it. They started sucking when they started writing their own episodes and writing their own endings and writing their own plots. And people were going, well, that doesn't make sense. This is what they're doing with Wheel of Time. They're writing it. They're not following the 15 books of lore that's behind it. They're not following the game plan. They're doing what they want. And then they're going, how come people think this sucks? At least, I will say this, because I'm also going to compare with another one. And as bad as it is, but at least with the Lord of the Rings of Power, they don't have a blueprint. They don't have a blueprint.
Well, they don't have the rights to a blueprint.
They don't have the
Yeah.
rights to the blueprint.
They don't have the rights to the.
But even
to
if
most of
there's
There's
the
a
blueprints that could
blueprint.
be
There's a
there.
blueprint, Corwin, but they
That's the
can't
thing.
legally use it.
No, the
There's
Cimmerillion
only
is not the
and there is
Cimmerillion.
only a blueprint, but again, they because they don't have the full story. It's not a story.
They're
like
writing
the actual.
right. Even the
fellowship
Cimmerillion
story.
doesn't go to that. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
writing
that's what I'm
their
saying.
own
It's just a blueprint.
stuff, and at least Lord of
But
the
they
Rings
don't even have that.
At least Lord of the Rings, at least Rings of Power is their own writing. Granted, it's still sucking, but they're not changing anything. They have a goal. Again, this is the same concept we talked about with what other show? Not Lord of the Rings. What was it? Wheel of Time? We've talked about this.
Was it Willow?
Willow. Yeah, I might have. They have gold. Like they've been given gold, and they're just like, I can think of something better to write.
That's the thing. Like, I get that you can have an unfaithful adaptation, but a good TV show. That's what most people I've heard are saying about Foundation, which I refuse to watch on moral principle because what they're presenting in Foundation is the literal direct opposite of the meaning of the books. But I've heard a lot of people still really it's a good show. Some people say it's boring, whatever. Okay. With the Wheel of Time, we already know it's not the books at all. If you completely throw them out and just judge the show on its writing by itself, it's still garbage.
It's still not good. It's entertainment, but it's not for the money they've spent on it. It's not going to be rewatched like Friends or Frasier or Big Bang Theory or
even Game of Thrones.
Or even Game of Thrones. It's
Yeah,
not.
there's-
Those ones
reruns
are
for
way
years.
up there. Game of Thrones will be rewatched, but not this one. Yeah.
Walking Dead is gonna, and I haven't watched anything beyond like season 5 or 6. Walking Dead reruns are still there, and that's a fantasy.
Mhm.
But this will not be. This will be completely forgotten, and it's because of the writing, and it's too bad. But this is the last other point I wanted to make is I am very excited, and not to change completely, but I am very excited to see what they do with. I have high hopes for the Harry Potter TV series that's coming out.
Absolutely.
Why? Because J.K. Rowling, who's shoving it to everyone who doesn't know, this is my world, and I may not agree with you politically, but this is my world. She is actively involved in the casting, the making, the producing, and the direction that the TV shows are going to go. And she even said the TV shows are going to dive deeper into some of the other subplots of the books that we can't do in a movie. And I'm very excited for the actual writer of it to be involved in the story. And she is very particular. If you've ever been to Harry Potter World, which Alan has in Florida, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
She's
really good.
actively involved in almost every detail. She's a micromanager.
Like even the food has to be approved by her.
The food has to be approved by her. You can't buy a bottle of water in
It's
Harry
not
Potter.
branded.
It's not. You can buy a bottle of Gilly water in Harry Potter World. It's Aquafina. Wrapping.
That was the one thing where it's like I thought it was going to be like something special, and it was just water. And I was like, I just paid $7 for a bottle of water. You got to be freaking kidding me.
That sounds like an
at
amusement
least
park.
it was like scented or something. Like what? Oh, what's this? Gilly water. I'll try it.
There
It's
is a
just
record.
water.
In Universal in Florida, I don't know about in California, but in Florida, you can take the train, Hogwarts Express, platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross. You can take the train from King's Cross to Hogsmeade. Okay, it's a little ride. It's kind of fun.
It's great.
Outside of the train station, there is, because you kind of walk in, you realize you're entering England and you're going through King's Crossing and yada yada. There's a record station that's right as you're looking to the side, and in the box is or in the window is a record, and the record is by, they don't say the Beatles, but it's like it's a play on Beatles. I can't remember what it says, but the record is entitled J.K.
The Buggers.
Said No. You can look this up. It says J.K. Said No, and that is the park's own little kind of dig at her. It's kind of funny because she would constantly tell them no. JK for JK Rowling. JK Rowling said no. She said, no, you can't put, they had to argue with her to the point of, she's like, no, you can't have medical packs in Harry Potter world. Wizards don't need for first aid. And they're like, yeah, wizards don't, but humans do. Like, it's a park. We have to have, it has to be marked.
For safety reasons, we
First
do have
aid,
to have
it has to be marked AED kit. Like, we have to have this legally. Okay, all right. Well, but we're going to have to make it wizardy.
Wizards don't need shade either because they have magic, right?
So, but there's a thing that says JK said no because there was
Wizards
a lot of
also don't need toilets because they can just magic away their poop, but they've got toilets anyway.
So, yeah. I'm very excited for the Harry Potter TV show because the author is going to be there doing everything he can or everything she can.
I have high hopes for it. I'm also a little worried because she is very, very woke.
Oh, she is very liberal,
but she just has a line that she won't cross, and I appreciate that. I think the sign is if they do a Black Hermione, I'm gonna be like, it's probably gonna have a lot of other stuff in it, you know.
We'll see.
But it could be one of the greatest television series of all time.
I'm hoping that she does it, and I think she will because she did the movies justice. Because she was actively involved in the movies.
She was involved in those. I think for me, the reason that I'm still a little bit nervous about it, though, is she's been involved in everything. And a lot of the things that she's come out with, especially post the books, some of it's been okay, and some of it's been like, all right, fine, Dumbledore being gay or what, like, okay, fine. Not what I want, but whatever. But then there's been a lot of really dumb stuff like, oh, wizards didn't used to have toilets because they just magicked away their poop. And you're like, what? And also you look at the Fantastic Beasts movies, which she has also been involved with.
How does potty training work in
the Wizarding world? Yeah, maybe it's not a thing because at the time they just magicked away the poop, and I don't know. So I see why you're excited, Corwin.
Did you guys ever see Family Guy? Have you the Family Guy episode where Brian they're time traveling? And Brian and Stewie go into the future where Christianity hasn't been invented. And so they're like 1,300 years into the future or whatever because the Dark Ages never happened. And Brian's like walking down the street. He's like, oh, hold on a minute. I got to poop. And Stewie's like, hold on 1 second. He's like, one for Brian poop removal, please. Then Brian's eyes get really wide. And he's like, what just happened? And they're like, oh, it's a magical dimension that sends the poop to another dimension.
So I don't know. It all comes down to I get why you're excited because she's involved, and that will be hopefully better than what these guys are doing, like with Wheel of Prime. But
George R. Martin was
I don't know. I'm still a little nervous for the same reasons like Alan.
George R. Martin was involved in Game of Thrones. They had him on speed dial. Granted, he wasn't like there every day, and he wasn't. But they did. They said, yeah, we talked to him a lot during the books. So use this on another one. We'll go for another one before and then I'll shut up. Because I've talked a lot today. Witcher. Let's look at The Witcher. Okay. Henry Cavill was a Witcher freak. He knew everything about the lore. He read the books. He did everything. So when they were like, we want to go in a different direction, he was like, no. We're not going in a different direction. Like, this is what we need to go to because this is the lore of the books. They kicked him out. We all know that's what happened. And just saying, like, when you're given gold, you don't need to.
I can't disagree with you there.
You had something I interrupted.
That's why I'm most excited about Brandon Sanderson stuff because I believe that he is following more the route of the J.K. Rowling, where he's like, I'm gonna keep some control, both because he's seen what happened with Wheel of Time, and he's seen what happened with with Orson Scott Card when they did Ender's Game. More the first time than the second time because Orson Scott Card did keep more control for the second one that still didn't turn out great. But like he knows and he's got the power and I think he's going to hold on to it. So
well, but that's what I was going to bring up is that he was helping on the first season, right? Like the first season he was helping on.
He gave notes, but they ignored him a lot.
What show are we talking about now? Wheel of Time?
Wheel of Time.
Brandon gave notes on Wheel of Time season 1.
Brandon Sanderson gave notes on the first pass of scripts.
Yeah.
They ignored most of his notes.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think like
there were several other passes.
It's hard to bring him in
that they completely shut him out of.
So that's why I'm saying, like, because of that experience, I think when he gets other things adapted, he's going to do a lot better at being like a J.K. Rowling and saying, "No, let me keep my hands on this a little bit
so
more."
they haven't had him involved at all this season, then, huh?
No, not at all.
And
Exactly, it's hubris. They think they know better than the people who wrote the source material. And yeah, that's the thing.
Yep.
If you make changes, it would be one thing if the show was good, right? If you're making a couple, I understand you have to make changes in adaptation, right? You can't just directly
and that is where
act
these
out the
people
books.
have some leg to stand on in the fact that, like, we know better. We know how to.
Right.
They theoretically could.
And
screenwriters might know better how to write for a screen better than the authors know how to write for a screen. They need to make sure that they marry the two of them together.
I even completely support the idea of combining books 2 and 3. I
Yeah,
think, especially if you only have 8 seasons of television, you could there's a lot of different things, but you could easily combine 2 and 3. You would have to cut a whole lot of stuff, and you might have to rearrange some of the pieces on the chessboard. But you could
make
still
it
tell
10
the same story.
episodes. Make it 9 or 10 episodes instead of 8.
Right. You might even have to make merge the two finales into one finale, because he does fight the same person at the end of both books.
Yep.
Okay. So you could take Tyr and Falma and make it one city and have both those finales happen simultaneously. Or you could do what they're doing and do like Falma mid-season and then go on to Tyr. I completely understand. You've got sometimes for the sake of time, you do have to make cuts. You do have to make changes. This show hasn't adapted any of book 2 or 3. They're not even trying. They're literally just doing whatever they want. They have Lan and Lanfear banging. They have Min and Matt hooked up on an adventure together, and they're constantly flirting about will they bang or will they won't bang.
Again, Min is Rand's anchor. Through the whole series, Min is Rand's anchor.
Yeah, so much so that she almost causes the end of the world. But that's a different story. It's not her fault either. What happens if you take an anchor away? Okay. So, but the point is, I'm fully understanding that you have to make changes, but they're not, and it goes back to the hubris. When you have a books that are this good, you really don't need writers. You need editors. You need people to compact everything and pull the best bits and arrange them in a fancy way that translates to screen. You don't need to add new material. Season 2 is 100%, with the exception of one scene from episode 3, it's 100% made up. And that's hubris. Like, that's them. We want some Wheel of Time flavored water, but we want to make it all ourselves.
Well, it's so weird because literally, like, they have pieces of it, right? Like they have this party that's going out and hunting for the horn, but then they get captured by the Shan-Chan, and
it's
you're
just
like,
immediately over.
This never happened. What the fetch? Like, why is this happening right now? So there's like stuff like that where you're like, okay, they've got the party, okay, this might be good, and then they get captured, and you're like, wait, what? Like, why did that happen?
If we want, we can cycle through it.
And even if they would have changed a little bit of that storyline, okay, even if they would have changed the storyline, again, like Alan was saying, sometimes you've got to make adaptations. They have changed the characters fundamentally.
Exactly.
Fundamentally, they have changed the characters. It's not like, hey, Rand was really tempted and maybe he got close and they, maybe things started to happen and then Rand ran away because he realized. No. They have fundamentally changed every major character in the show.
And they killed the one-eyed dude.
Yeah.
Uno.
Yeah, they killed him off. I'm like,
It's
a
one-eyed dude, and it doesn't even work for non-book readers. It doesn't work for non-book readers because You didn't let them get attached to the character.
No.
It only serves to piss off book readers or to shock book readers and say anyone can die, which isn't what book readers want, because you're telling them, hey, this isn't the books.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, well,
the only reason that could be for
Game of Thrones
is to show non-book readers, hey, that these people are vicious. You better be scared of them.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be so much more effective if you killed off someone that they liked? But no, Uno has like 3 spoken words, and then he gets his face shoved into a spike.
He's not even the tracker, because they brought Elias in completely out of context. So Elias is in coming
Elias
instead, because we're like, oh, Uno sucks at his job because he can't smell the scent and can't.
Well, Uno's not the tracker.
Wasn't it Uno?
Heron,
Heron,
Hirrin, or something like that.
You're right. But like they had a tracker for that, you know. So it's like, So, anyways,
so I will continue to watch it just because of the show.
It's hilarious.
I can't say I'll stay up on it because I have zero. I'd rather read the books. I would rather give my money, and instead of giving my money to Amazon Prime, I would rather. Of course, I'm already a Prime member, so I watch anyway. But like, instead of vindicating this, I would rather read the books. I really would, because the books are they're better.
I literally burst out laughing at the finale of episode 4. I was laughing it was so cringy and so cheesy and so bad. I woke all of my kids up.
Oh, when they killed Lanfear?
They were all asleep. Yeah. We should just step through it though. Like, okay, so
after this I'll have to go.
Yeah. So this doesn't make sense. So Ishamael wakes up Lanfear, except that she's already like an innkeeper and been around for all of season 4, but she just barely got woken up.
No, so I think this is a flashback. I think is what this is.
It's dumb. It's bad pacing. You could have done this.
I thought that too. Maybe. I was like, wait, who is this? And then later you're like, oh, that's Lanfear that he woke up. But I'm like, oh yeah, okay, they're doing a.
So he releases Lanfear from prison, and she's naked and bloody. And the stupid quote, "The blood calls blood." It's not
not in the books.
No, blood calls blood is for the Manetheren.
Oh yeah.
That's what that quote means. This is completely different. It's the blood of Manetheren flows deep in the 2 rivers, and so the main characters will randomly just start shouting the old tongue, and they don't even know what it means, but it's because the blood of Manetheren is so strong. Yep. But this is just a blood calls blood because that sounds creepy, and so we're gonna and blood has always been, and blood will always remain, and blood calls blood, and blood answers the phone, and blood talks to itself. There's sometimes blood, they just have some chats. They sit down and just have a heart-to-heart, and blood will always remain. Like, what does it even mean? It's just drivel. It's nonsense. Then we get Moraine's sister, and we get to have like Moraine.
I gotta say,
Moraine is a literal asshole. She is awful.
Well,
she's a horrible character.
And they're literally like her breaking the bond. What? Breaking the bond with Lan? That man, I was so frustrated when she's literally just like, no, Lan, like I'm leaving you because like the only way that Lan ever broke that bond or that bond was broken is later because of what happens to Moraine. But it's like that was so dumb. But I have to say real quick, though. Sorry, since I've already interrupted.
Oh, okay. I might have gotten the blood calls blood a little bit wrong, but still, it's out of context here and it doesn't make sense.
I do have to say, though, real quick, that I actually kind of appreciate that they are showing this relationship that Aes Sedai do have with their family, right? Where, like, they're obviously a lot younger and their younger sisters.
You can add stuff like this for depth if you don't
throw
out the rest of the books.
Yes,
okay?
I agree.
That's the problem. Like,
so, yeah, I like that certain touch to it where it's like, oh, yeah, like she's obviously the older sister, but she's much younger looking, right? So it's like I like how they're kind of attaching that sort of aspect to it, but yeah, at the same time, it's like Moraine, like what
it
are
also
you
comes
doing?
at just the destruction of her character. She's just a horrible person to Lan and a horrible person to her sister, and doesn't even like, hey, she could just stop for 2 seconds and say, hey, look, I know we haven't talked in forever, and I promise we'll catch up, but literally, like, the world is at stake, and I have to go do this, and I need your help now.
I'm trying
she doesn't
to save
even
the world.
that would have been a quicker conversation than what we got on screen, which is just her being a dick. Rand is scooping up ash for some reason, which you would need to pick up the wood, but he's just scooping. He's shoveling piles of ash. You could just leave that there. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's already burnt down. If she severed the bond, if she was stilled, the bond would have already been broken if she was severed from the source, right? If she's just shielded, the bond still exists. They just can't feel it. Leandrin is 34. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the super chat, Mark. What was the point I was making?
I'm gonna
peace out. Go ahead, peace out.
Okay.
Bearded probably doesn't want to stay around either. But
yeah, I mean, I'm listening in, but at the same time, I don't have a whole lot to contribute. So
the whole plot, I don't understand why they're doing this now. The whole the bond is broken, because they're just going to have to do it again later, unless, which is the reason why I think they're doing it now, is because they don't plan on doing it later.
Yeah.
Because they can't get rid of the main character. Screw you, Rafe Judkins. It's one of the coolest. It's literally one of the coolest scenes in the books. If they don't do it, screw you. If you do it, why are you doing this? It makes no sense.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, to be honest, because literally the way that they've have it. I mean, there's no like, there's nothing that says, hey, this is what's going to happen, because that's what she's doing initially. She's trying to prepare for what's going to happen later, right? But there's nothing that says, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And I mean,
I don't think that she's so much. I'm pretty sure she's shielded. I still think it's stupid. They will also have to change that Moraine is an Aes Sedai for the foretelling.
Yeah, guitar.
I don't understand. No, I know what you're talking about. I just don't know why that would have anything about that would have to change. I'm confused. But because of her age, right? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Pike is going nowhere. It's her vanity project. They're not gonna have her disappear. If you wanted to do it, you could. That's when you could start the prequel stuff, so she could still be in the show.
Yeah,
but it's literally her greatest moment. So, but also then she would have to be rescued by a man, and that's problematic.
She's doing a great job.
Especially because she's a lesbian now, and so she's not going to have that relationship.
Oh, but that's the thing, though. I feel like these actors are doing a good job. It's just like the story is just all messed up, and it's not like Corin was saying. It's not the same story.
It's severing is both. Men are gentled, women are stilled. Severing is the process that gentles or stills. Oh, yes.
Yeah. But sorry, you were talking about the pacing, I think, of the story.
Well, I was just going through. It's just, well, it doesn't make sense. So he's shoveling whatever. Hey, do you want to go on a sex vacation with me to my old bang cabin? No, I don't.
And then they sleep outside. It's like,
I know
this cabin.
We're not there yet, Jared. But like he says, no, I'm not going to do it. And then he just goes, and there's no scene where he like changes his mind. Like, I don't know what's going
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
No, you're not being blonde tonight, dude. There's so much terminology from the books. I get it wrong all the time. You got it right. I just got confused. You think Lanfear has been using compulsion on Rand? Oh, maybe. I don't know. See, that would be interesting, right? If he says, I'm not going to go. And then later he's there, but you actually like make it nefarious, instead of just doing nothing with it. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. We like to bang each other. And then everything in the White Tower is so boring. It is so slow and so pointless. I also, I hate the rainbow accepted dresses. I think they look like old those wax solo cups. The pattern on them. I think it looks ridiculous.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they took so long for her to get to be accepted. Literally, that was like the first thing that they do when they get her.
Yeah,
to the
it's like chapter 1.
Yeah, they're like, oh shoot, Nynaeve, like she can channel. Let's make her an accepted. And we're just getting to the point where she's accepted.
But
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It's all just let's talk about our feelings. Oh, none of it was real. None of it was real. I loved Rafe Judkins and the little talk back thing for this episode is like, oh, we wanted it to be like, we wanted Nynaeve's experience to be like this was her miscarriage. So we wanted it. And we're just like, this, what?
Well, that's the other thing too, is that, I mean, in the book, it was so unique because she has to leave Lan right when she's about to, like finally get the chance to be with him. And in this book, like the only reason why she leaves is because he's dead. It's like that completely.
I know.
It's
I know.
like,
They don't.
He's dead.
It's
Okay.
supposed to present a moral dilemma. Hey, you could help. Is that every single scene in her testing? I know I talked about this last week, so sorry you get a repeat, but Jared wasn't there. Every single scene in her testing was pointless. The whole idea is you're supposed to, if you stayed, you could make a difference, but you have to choose to leave.
Yeah.
But even because they said she can't channel. Right. The first thing she does is channel, and they're like, "Whoa, you shouldn't be able to do that, right?" Except that doesn't happen in the show. When she goes to Emmons Field, and there's all these people that are dying, and she can't channel.
Oh yeah.
So there's no temptation to stay, because everyone's going to die.
She's like,
but in the book, she knows that if she does stay, she could save the people.
Yeah.
No, I know. They look like solo cups. I'm telling you, it looks ridiculous. And then the same thing, she waits until everyone has died and then tries to take her daughter with him and then loses the daughter. Instead of having to make the choice to leave. It's so retarded. And then all of this stuff with Land. All the stuff with Lan is literally worse than any CW drama I've ever seen in my life. It's so like they go out of their way to just demean this character and say, "Oh, all these gay warders keep making fun of me and saying I'm old and saying I'm slow," and all of this stuff. It's just.
And then Moraine's like, "No, I'm breaking this bond because you failed me. You failed me. You didn't do your job." I'm like. What? I
never saw you as my equal. Like, oh my, and all the I went on Twitter and everyone's saying, no, that line doesn't mean what you think it means. She's saying she thinks that he's so much more than her. No, she's just a dick. Okay. Like,
well, maybe that's the case, but still, like, you don't say that.
Yeah, in the talkbacks, they're saying, I wanted to show the family life and have it in the same. I wanted to show the family life of these Aes Sedai. So you get to see Moraine's family, and then you get to see Alana's family. And so you see one's happy and one's sad. And you're like, okay, but what does it add to the story?
Yeah, why?
It's boring.
Why are they doing this? This isn't in the books. Like, why is this important?
I figured out one of the gay warders is Rafe Judkins' boyfriend, and that's why they're cast in the show. Yeah, I don't know which one. I think it's the black one. Who knows? And then we get the best scene ever. We get Lan pissing, and Alana just walking up to him and talking him with his cock out.
Well, like literally every time it goes to these scenes, I'm like, what are they doing here? Like, why is this important? I
Is
don't get it.
Is that the black one or the not black one? I don't know.
I think that one is the African colored skin. Yeah, because the other one I think is Ilan or whatever his name is. Elon. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they haven't even explained to us why the Horn of Valir is important to find.
Yeah.
But we have time for this bull crap.
All it said was, "Oh, it'll summon a dead army." That's all it said.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was Alana or somebody that said that. Oh no. It was a Lanfear at the end. While they're like, because the guys are one of the minstrels or something like that's telling a story, and Rand asks, he's like, "What's this whole thing about the horn?" She's like, "Oh yeah, it'll summon some dead army or something," and that's all they said.
Mark Maxim is one of her gay warders, and also Rafe Judkins' in real life boyfriend. Yeah, and then she's like, and then they're just insulting to him. They're like, when Lan gets a chance to speak, I'm gonna skip right over that and just tell you you're dumb, you know. Blonde warder. Okay, it's the white one. Oh yeah. So cringy. None of this serves any purpose. And then my favorite part is Moraine shows up and says, no need to pull out any of the pageantry. While I'm in town, I don't want anyone to know that I'm here. I want to keep a low profile. And then she goes walking through the city in this dress.
I know, right?
The shot comes up later, but she's walking through the city just in full, like, okay, this is a low profile for sure. Oh, we'll find it later. Oh my gosh. This show's so bad.
I like Elaine's character though. I think she's been doing well.
This made no sense either. They're trying to justify why Logain is here instead of where he's supposed to be. If we take the Aes Sedai for their word in season 1, where they said we're going to keep you here in the tower and torture you every day because we're actually bad people and we hate men, right? Remember, that's what they said in season 1. Like, we're going to torture you every day, you piece of crap. How dare you ever try and channel, even though you didn't really choose to be able to channel, and it's literally irresistible. No one can resist the temptation because it's like a drug and it feels so good to channel. But we're going to torture you every day so that no man ever has the arrogance of ever thinking that they could touch the one source. And then he's just not there. He's in a random insane asylum in season 2 because they're just lying, I guess. And and they justify it in the scene. He says, "It was you, wasn't it? Moraine, your sway in the White Tower is what got me sent here instead of that cell in the White Tower."
Yeah.
Except that Moraine was banished from the White Tower in season 1. She no longer has sway in the White Tower. So how in the hell is she the one responsible for sending him to Kyrian, right? That's what. No, they're not there yet. They're gonna go to Kyrian. This is in the gate, the way gate, whatever.
Oh yeah, like outside of the city. No, I think this is Kyrian.
I'll have to look it up. But they can't even. They're not even. It's the foregate, not a way gate. Yeah. They're not even consistent with their own garbage.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, and the whole. Okay, here's the other thing. Okay, so first off. Okay, so how the crap is Rand gonna know how to use a sword? First off. And 2,
it's the crazy guy. It's the crazy guy.
Well, that's why I'm like,
he learns instead of learning the sword, instead of being trained by Land, he's trained by a guy in a mental hospital.
Seriously,
and so he's going to remember when he says the words, you can use this move and that move, and it'll catch him off guard. He's going to use that in the finale to fight the Shamael.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, okay, so that's literally all his training is what
He's never.
this
It's
guy
not like
does.
he can bring a sword into a mental hospital like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's even a line. He says, "Next time I'll try and sneak my sword back in, and we can sword fight." You're like, they let you bring a sword into a mental hospital?
Oh, ridiculous. Why not just stick with the story? Have Lan help him train, right? Like that was how it happened.
Because
I mean, and obviously
Jared,
he has a lot to
they
learn.
don't
It's
like the story.
I know. That's what's ridiculous is that they're trying to do these little things. They're like, oh yeah, okay, Rand's got to learn how to fight. Okay, so how are we gonna do that? Okay, well we'll bring some insane dude in and teach him. I don't know. Okay, hold on. How he's got to learn how to channel. How are we gonna do that? Oh yeah, Logain's gonna be at the Sand Asylum. Yeah,
Sure,
okay, that's how we do it.
Moraine slips in a dagger, so of course Rand
Yeah.
can slip in an entire freaking sword and not just get immediately fired.
Hey, I do think I'm going to dip out.
Get out, man.
Always fun hearing you guys rage against the machine. I mean, rage against the Wheel of Prime. But yeah.
Prime is the machine.
Yes, Prime
Thanks
is the
for
machine.
giving us your
Yep.
updates on Star Wars because I definitely don't want to watch it.
I'll probably.
I don't know. I imagine you won't be as angry at it as you are at this. You know.
Yeah.
Like better than this. I don't know.
I when they first announced Rosamund Pike as this, I was really excited. I was like, she's a great actress, but I genuinely don't like her anymore because of this stupid show. Get that.
We'll get on that
Mark
Clark
says to
thing by
get the
the
channel
beginning of the
going, man.
I'm thinking beginning of the year I might try to get something going there, but I need to get a couple other pieces together, and I've been lazy about that. I've been thinking I want to get into a new place first, but it'll be a while before I get there. So, oh well, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
I'll let you know. All right, have a good one, you guys.
Yep. Good luck.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
So her plan is she wants Logain to train him in the power, which means we're definitely not going to get Asmodean, right? Like if that's like we can't. That's my favorite. Okay. This is one of the coolest parts of the books. Okay, I'm pissed about what happens to Asmodean in the books because that like. He needed to keep going for a little bit longer because it was so fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that Robert Jordan never tells you who it was. Okay. But now we're not even going to get him.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I like who they've gotten to play Logain. But this just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And the fact that literally this is the reason why Rand is even at this asylum is so that he can get in and that was his plan all along was to actually beat up that guy and get in here. It's like,
oh my gosh, the him just beating a dude to a pulp in the middle of the streets just so
and
stupid.
that's not Rand either. That's the thing. I'm like, that is not Rand. Like that's not what he's all about.
They were trying to show that the power is corrupting him, right? Except that he beats the dude to death before he starts channeling. And when once he starts channeling, he's like, "Oh no, I'm too far."
Yeah.
So it was him beating the crap out of the guy for he disrespected him earlier in the episode. Is that what it was? He was mean.
Yeah, he was disrespecting him and making fun of him.
He was just a rude guy, so it just beats the snot out of him.
Yeah.
Which fake out death are you talking about? I don't know. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's frustrating because they just. It's not at all what the characters would do. Like I said, I like Elaine and Egwene. I think their relationship
except that their dialogue is just so boring.
It is.
I think Elaine's fine. I think she's good casting. At least she has friggin' red hair.
Well, but here's the thing too. Where are Galad and are they coming later in the season?
Who knows?
Right? I'm like,
Matt's already gone, so we're not getting literally everyone's favorite scene from all of the books.
Oh yeah, and what was this thing about Nynaeve sparring with the warders? Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like,
She's a strong, independent Aes Sedai who don't
I'm like,
need to not do no sword fights.
I'm like, I just don't understand any of their motivation. I'm like, okay,
Every single time we go back to the White Tower, it's just so slow and so boring. And they're always just talking about feelings.
yeah.
It's so crappy.
Well, here's the thing: the books can kind of do that too, right? Like, there's a lot of politics that it talks about, and there's a lot of stuff that happens with like between the Aes Sedai.
Yeah, but
and
it's not
stuff,
just
but it's not like this.
girls talking about their feelings.
Yeah, it's not.
This
It's not
scene,
like this.
this scene genuinely confused me. I don't know why it's here, other than to establish that the Amelin is not in the White Tower.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know. Like, oh, she's not here. I guess I'm the keeper, and if she goes down, you go down. Haha, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. For like probably next season because they're going to skip like 6 books. And then, well, we finally get some Perrin, and he's complaining. And then there actually was one good scene. It's the scene with where he gets the vision of Hopper jumping around, and he says, "Oh, so his name is Hopper." And I actually liked the scene. This is a good scene. And there were a lot of people on Twitter I was literally crying when I saw the scene. I was like, okay, that's too much, but this was a good scene because it's and like oh goodness, I'm having a brain fart. Why can't I think of what's his name?
This guy,
Yeah,
Elias.
Elias. We've already said it like 4 times.
Yeah.
And Elias says close enough, right? He's like, this is good adaptation. This one scene of showing that the wolves kind of speak in images, and that it's never going to translate directly into human tongue because it's like they're communicating feelings, right? So Hopper's name is like the joy of hopping up and down, right? And so his name is Hopper, but it's actually the sensation of hopping, right? Like,
yeah,
I like it. It's this scene's good.
It was good, but it's late. Like, why is this happening now?
It's so late.
Like,
and it would help if they were doing something.
yeah,
I know the wolves are very small. They're very, very small.
I mean, how are they bringing this back into? I don't know.
That's a small thing to complain about. Like, especially if you're getting, because they're clearly practical. It's clearly not CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take small wolves over CGI big ones.
Yeah,
it's not. There's other things to complain about.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you in chains? Why he didn't? Oh yes, that was stupid. Him saying, "Wait, why didn't you warn us that bad guys were coming? Are you in chains? I saved you." Yeah, but you could have also saved literally everyone else. Yeah, it was dumb that he didn't warn them. It is just manufactured drama.
Yeah.
The reason he didn't warn them is because we wanted to have a scene where Uno dies. If he warned them, then they couldn't have had that scene. Yep. The show is being written backwards.
Yep.
It's bad writing. They think of all the cool things they want to do, and then just paste in the justification. That's not how you write. That's not how you should. That's not how you get good writing. Yeah, this was cool. This genuinely a good scene, which is rare. Yeah. More feelings, blah blah blah. Rafe Judkins' boyfriend. The dog playing Hopper is quite adorable. Yes, he is. More. Oh, you're doing so good. Remember your friend who just killed himself? Yeah, you're definitely not him. So just yeah. This is the scene you were talking about. I want to keep a low profile Moraine. I want to keep a low profile Domadred. Screw off show. You just wanted an excuse to see her in a pretty dress, which granted is very Robert Jordan. But then just get rid of the other line. You just can't. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
I get it. I want to see dresses. Okay, spend an entire episode talking about the women's dresses. Just stop talking about their stupid feelings. Okay, that would be a better adaptation of Robert Jordan's work.
That's true. That's very true.
Trip says I did like when that's her sister. I can't pronounce that. And Anavir puts Moraine in her place. Yes, at the end of the episode where she says, "Hey, stop being a jerk." But it cuts away before you get to see Moraine apologize for being a horrible person, because they can never show that on camera.
Yeah.
They get to show her putting in her place, and they don't show the reaction, which is what I want to see. I want to see her actually repenting and saying, "Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a horrible person."
Yeah, and then there's this whole thing too about like the game of houses, right? Because that's kind of what it alludes to with this party that he goes to, and Moraine's sister's there. But it's so out of place at that point too. Like, why is he going and getting dressed up?
Just because he wanted a bottle of wine. And of course, that entire interaction is not suspicious. I'm not suspicious of my girlfriend at all, who could just get us into a party and steal from these nobles.
Yeah, and the coat that he has just happens to have herons. It's like, that's not something that Lanfear would get for him. It's like.
I liked the coat because it very much looked like his dragon coat on like.
No, I like it.
It's like the cover of like book 4. His that red coat, or there's a couple different covers, but I can't remember which version of it. It's like the white background with him in that red jacket. It's a very common Rand picture.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And it's got the dragon going down, and I'm glad that it didn't put the dragon on it, because that would be silly. But yeah, herons. But I liked seeing him in that coat. I was like, that if he just had his freaking hair.
Well, the thing
that would be Rand, baby.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, it in the book that he has these. I mean, he has a heron coat. Like, they specifically talk about having herons on the coat in the books, but it's not because he goes to a
context.
Yeah, it's like it's completely out of context. So that's the thing. I'm like, okay, I see that they're trying to put these things in there, but at the same time, it's like Lanfear would not have done that. She would not have gotten him a coat with herons on there, right?
David disliked the episode so much he couldn't even make the stream to rant about it, because he made him so physically ill. They have to make up all that crap for all the characters to do, because it has nothing to do for the book. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would be forgiving of changes if you were actually trying to adapt the books and you had to make changes to fit it together. I would be very forgiving of changes, but you're not even trying to resemble the books.
Yeah.
Stupid in this conversation to justify shaving off Rand's hair, his like defining physical characteristic. Stupid. And then this scene is just utter garbage. Feelings. The world sucks, but when we're together, it's great. Blah blah blah. The world will never give you nothing. Blah, blah, da, 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 da. They didn't even if you've noticed, they didn't dye his roots. He has blonde roots.
They do look kind of blonde there.
It's not red.
Yeah, I've noticed that in some episodes, like some scenes, it looks more red than others.
Trip, we said it simultaneously. We had the parallel thinking. Why would you shave his head? It's so stupid. The most accurate scene is mopping the floors in the White Tower, except that the dialogue in that scene is so freaking cringe. She's looking for someone for shaved hair, but she's not going to be able to find him because he shaved his head. It's drama, guys. Just adapt the books. They were so much better.
Yeah, the other thing that I thought was dumb is that so far they haven't done anything with like burning the herons in his hands. Maybe they'll do that a little bit later, but I don't know. Like that was a
When
key part of
ooh, does
like
that happen? Does that happen in 2 or 3?
it happens in 2 because
Right.
he has the nightmares.
That's
And
when he.
so
That's when he swallow. No, that's when he sheathes the sword. Whatever.
yeah, he's like in the dream he's attacking him with his sword or using his sword or something like that, and then he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, my hands hurt," and he's got the heron in his hand, and you're like, "Oh shoot, okay, maybe that wasn't a dream," you know. So there's like things like that where like they haven't even done any of that, you know. So for all he knows, Rand, like he could not, maybe he's not the Dragon Reborn because all he's done is channeled. Like he hasn't had anything with the heron.
I still think they're gonna do the multi-headed dragon.
Yeah, maybe. Well, but here's the thing too. I don't know if you noticed, but they literally have already contradicted themselves too about the whole dragon baby beaver girl thing. Because when Alana and when Moraine were talking, right, and Alana like says, "Hey, I know that one of those boys is probably the Dragon Reborn," right? She doesn't say, "Hey, one of those people." She says, "One of those boys was the dragon," right?
You're right. The heron's not on the sword in this shot. There's no heron. I'm trying to find a better shot, but there was a split second where you could see it, and there's no heron on his blade. Oh, baby. Anyway, garbage.
Yeah. So there's lots of stuff where I'm like, oh, okay, so now it has to be a boy. It's like, oh, okay. What about like all these heron marks stuff that he's like progressively got throughout the books? Like, there's none of that so far.
Every single scene that Matt and Min are in, Min tells him, "No, I'm not going to have sex with you."
Yeah, but I will say,
Why?
I think this is a good Min. I mean, a good Matt. I do like how this actor is playing Matt. I think they're going to.
This episode was much better than him just crying in the and him using. And I ranted about this last week, but you weren't here.
Sorry.
Him using real world swears.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
It's like if the first scene, he says shit, and you're like,
oh, that is true.
Not even bloody ashes.
That is Matt. Yeah. Shoot. And well, and here's the thing too. This scene,
Uno saying fecking instead of like oh.
Oh yeah. I know we talked about that the first season. Is we liked how they were bringing some of those curses in, but they have not been consistent with that at all.
No, they have not. In modern swear words, which was like that's. Wait, Robert Jordan didn't invent the idea of having in-world, swear words, but he popularized it for sure. Like Brandon Sanderson is probably the one who does it the most now, that like the most well known for coming up with creative in-universe swears, and everyone loves it. And he got the idea from Robert Jordan.
Robert Jordan. Well, but here's the other thing too with this particular scene. So like this scene, she's winning all of his money, right? Mm-hmm. But literally, it was after he's okay. Well, actually, hold on. Don't get me started with the
actress for Men is 39 years old. Oh my gosh. Go on.
So basically, it's ridiculous that they parted him from the dagger for 6 months ago, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And he's totally fine. Like, he's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with him. So apparently the first thing that they did with him fixing or like parting him from the dagger worked.
Right.
In the first season.
Yeah, no, there's not going to be a second healing. That was it.
So he's healed, but the thing is, like, after he gets healed in the book, that's kind of when all of his luck picks up.
Yes.
Right? And so what is this?
It's after his second healing. He's still losing.
Yeah, he's still losing to Min. It's like that should be happening now. Like he should be kicking in. He should be the luckiest man alive right now, and he's not. So like, how are they going to bring that in? How are they going to bring that into the story? Is it just going to be like, oh, I'm suddenly witty? Like, that's dumb. Because
bad choices.
Because I think if I remember correctly, the reason why he suddenly is good at luck is because he's in the book, they like when they're doing the second healing, they go into like he just starts muttering like old tongue, right?
Yeah.
And he starts speaking in old tongue, and so it's like he's been imbued with these other spirits, right? And so I think, I mean, if I don't know if this is accurate, but this is how I read it, is that like because of that, because he has these other spirits that are now attached to him, like that's when his luck gets better, is because these other spirits.
Yeah, well, it's a talent that kind of it gets unlocked because of the trauma and his, he has the talent likely because of his blood of Manetheren, which is strong and has lots of talents. Which is why Perrin gets wolf powers and Matt gets luck powers, and Rand happens to be the Dragonborn, even though Matt's not actually from the Two Rivers, so that's a different story. But it's why these people are so good, right? And like even the girls, they have like talents. I mean, Elaine is kind of a different story, but she could have Manetheren blood. Who knows? Elaine has her tinkering thing. Nynaeve is just really great at healing and seeing the different weaves, and Egwene is really good at having sticks up her butt. So, what's her thing? She's just stubborn. Is that her talent?
Well, Nynaeve is really like the big stubborn one, right? Like
they're both pretty stubborn.
Yeah, but like
I don't know, Nynaeve kind of wisens up throughout the series, and it's not till like the last book where Egwene meets up with Rand, and she's like, "Oh wait, Rand has grown too, and it wasn't just me. I should stop treating him like a kid."
Yeah.
She doesn't repent until like the last book.
That's true. That is true. Well, I love their progression in the books, but anyways, so anyway. I'm kind of upset that they haven't brought any of that in there, right? Like none of that story is. Instead, they're just like, we're gonna imprison him for.
But Leandrin has had 2,000 words.
Yeah, I hate that. She barely has anything in these first.
Also,
books.
I mean, if we're sticking with the books, she's not very important of a character going forward.
Yeah.
Her involvement kind of ends in book 2.
Yeah. Well, and the way that okay, so it just makes a lot more sense the way they do it in the book too, when Leandrin actually brings the girls to the Seanchan, because they're awake. Right? Like
okay.
Sorry,
we'll get there. That's the worst part of the episode. Okay.
There's just so many things that literally I was like,
Nynaeve had a miscarriage, and we're still trying to make Leandrin sympathetic. Like even it's the like when she's alone on when she's alone on screen, there she's like they're showing her actually care about Nynaeve in the testing when all the other sisters leave, and she got stuck. She got stuck in the arches.
Yeah.
And they show Leandrin with no characters around being concerned and throwing down the thing. It's like how bad Frozen was. Everyone said Frozen was a good movie, and I watched it and I was like, this is garbage. They have the twist at the end, which makes no sense retroactively, because the prince, like, they have scenes where he's alone and he's being a good guy and he's pining over this girl, and then the twist at the end is, oh, I never loved her, ha ha ha. It's because we all know that they changed who the villain was, but they didn't change the context of and so it makes no sense. It's like the ending of Now You See Me, right? Where it turns out, spoilers, that the policeman was the wizard guy pulling the strings the whole time. But when you go back and watch the movie, none of his choices make sense.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is backwards writing or creating a twist and then not going back and fixing it and making it consistent. When you have a twist like this, once it happens, all of the pieces need to fall into place. It needs to make sense. You're like, I wasn't expecting that, but all of these character decisions fall in line with the twist. When the twist happens here, it makes no freaking sense.
Yeah.
I missed some comments. Is Matt even going to Ruidion? I don't know if they're doing Aelfin or Aelfin at all. Because they don't need to. Because Moraine's not going there. Sanderson's take on Matt's luck being a Taviran has a distinct effect on him, but there is an innate luckness to Matt, partially drawn from the fact that, here's the Horncomb Gambler. Yeah. That's the same. Nope. Yes. Oh man, lots of comments.
Yeah, Trip was trying to help.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. I do think that being a Taviran meant that the luck was greatly magnified. Yeah. Yes. It's much like, even it's not Leandrin, it's Elida's. Elida, there's lots of characters who have like random talents, right? Elida's got the talent for compulsion, which is really cool.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous.
Stupid. So
we didn't need any of this background stuff with
girl time. She's
and the fact that they won't let her teach novices. Oh, but she can teach accepted. Like,
so stupid. More feelings. Blah 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 blah. Who gives up? Rats patoot. And then we finally, after 4 episodes, we finally get to see what was on the piece of paper, and it's a poem. It's just a poem directly saying, "Hey, my name is Lanfear, and I left this note, and I'm a bad guy, and I'm going to go kill the dragon." Like, it's not even like veiled. Why did they write it? Why did she tell her plans in blood? Right. And so they have the reveal before the reveal, right? That Lanfear is Lanfear. That Selene is Selene is Lanfear. They keep shooting themselves in the feet. It doesn't. They don't know how to write stories. It makes no sense. And of course, we got to keep it a secret from Lan because he's a big, stupid, dumb doo-doo head.
Yeah, like why do you need to keep it from Lan? What like?
Right. Moraine gets put in her place, which was fun, except we didn't get to see her humble herself. Whatever. You need my information, you little. More drinking. We get more toilet wine. I don't know why. This so weird. Such a weird choice. Oh my gosh. Feelings. Hey, I gotta tell you a secret, but I'm gonna listen. Blah blah blah. We're gonna go save. We gotta go save Randa, and I'm coming with you. And then
here's the other thing with this though, real quick.
Yeah. Okay. We finally here. Now you can talk about it.
Okay. So real quick, so go back just a little bit when they're in the room.
Okay, they're in the room,
and then Naive comes in because here's the thing. These two are like, okay. So in the books. The great thing about it is that like all 3 of these people are kind of like creating this friendship, right? So Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene, they're all kind of becoming friends.
Yeah.
Even though Egwene is already even though Nynaeve's already accepted.
Yes.
Right? And so when this part comes up and they're like, "Oh, we got to go." It makes sense for Elaine to be like, "Oh yeah, well, of course I'm going cuz you two both like my only friends here." Like yeah, you're going.
The Nynaeve leave, but this is my room.
Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense.
But I'm gonna be a jerk. Okay, I guess I needed to wash my cup, which is still full of wine.
Yeah, but it's like that's so dumb because I'm like, okay, all 3 of them were friends. Why is she being a jerk to Elaine? It's like, oh, that's right, because they haven't developed any of that yet. It's like,
no.
So is this quest that they're going on? Is that when they're going to become real good friends? I don't know. But I'm like, so the fact that Elaine then follows them, it makes a lot less sense because, Oh, she's just
because they're a
coming because-
jerk to her.
because Egwene is going. Okay, that's it.
Oh. You know, I think they're really setting up Egwene and Elaine as pillow friends.
Hmm.
I think that's what they're doing.
Maybe.
And, I'm not going to like it because I don't. Who knows? I don't think Gawain and Galad are in the story. So
Yeah, right. Like, and they should have been here.
I know they cast one of them. Apparently,
Plus, I thought
where
it would
is
be
he?
cool.
Who knows?
I thought it would be neat to see how like they actually like talked between the walls a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have any of that. Like it's just like, oh yeah, we'll just chill in her room. I don't know. I guess that's not needed. That's a little thing that
That's fine.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
but then this
I
part
love-
doesn't make any
I love
sense.
that Nynaeve has this lantern that's just completely useless.
It's like that is great. I didn't catch that the first time.
The other one's okay. That's a lantern. The other one's just like, what is that for? So Elaine shows up, and then they're surprised to see Leandrin, even though, like, they knew she was the one that told them about this. And then
And then she's like, "Sorry, I got to knock you guys out." It's like, wait, what?
So she knocks them out. She, by her own words, she decides to take on the most powerful channeler the White Tower has seen in the last 1,000 years, plus 2 other people who can channel, all by herself. Rather than do what she does in the books, which is just not betray them yet until they get ambushed and fall into the trap with the Shan-Chan.
Yep.
This makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and then how's she gonna
But
travel?
now she has to travel through the freaking ways. And we know she's still going that way because I saw the teaser for episode 5. She has to carry 3 full-grown women, all of whom can channel. She will have to have them shielded and carry them all the way through the ways, which are still dangerous to dark friends. The Machin Shin doesn't care and will kill anything. She's got to carry them through the ways, get them to Falma, and deliver them to the Shan-Chan while making sure that they are shielded the whole time.
Yeah.
Or she could have just led them to Falma like she does in the books.
Yeah. I'm like, why?
It's
Why would you change that?
retarded.
It just makes so much more sense. Like that's the easiest answer, and they chose not to go with it. I'm like,
Also, like it magically knocked all 3 of them out. Like it was a big blast, but that's not going to knock someone out, and maybe one of them, but all 3 of them magically pass out. It's so stupid. This is just juvenile writing, and this is a change from the books that literally just creates more problems. It's so silly. You didn't need to do it.
yep, I don't get it.
It's flabbergasting to me. And then we get this weird I guess it's a dream because the Dark One is in her dreams now, and she just agrees to become a dark friend.
I literally like you can ask my wife. She's like, I went to bed a little later than her last night, and this morning
shouting.
She's like, yeah, I heard you shouting a couple times, and I was like, yeah, sorry, it was just so bad. Like I just couldn't resist. Like
They're not making it closer. It'll be faster traveling through the ways, but still, it's a stupid decision. They're already on her side. She's the one that told them that Perrin's in trouble.
Yeah.
Why make that change? You arrogant pricks. Yeah, so you got real upset about this?
Yeah. So I was like, what? Like I literally was just yelling like that same word. What? I can't believe this. and she's like, yeah, I heard you screaming a bunch. I was like,
And then, like you
sorry.
said, they get to the bang shack and sleep outside.
Seriously, this was so ridiculous. I was like, oh, they're sleeping outside. Oh, the cabin's right there.
I bet they couldn't afford the cabin, and so
So
they
it's
just
all
filmed
just
outside it. Right?
yeah.
They couldn't afford to rent the cabin for the day. And then
And
Rand,
then a shade.
instead of Rand is never going to use his sword, man.
I don't think he's
He
going
just
to.
does I don't know what it is, but it's something, and it kills a fade, and it looks silly. Oh man, it's so silly.
I mean, I didn't think that looked too bad, but like
pretty bad. Like tear it to pieces, chop him up.
yeah, but it didn't. Again, he's not using his sword at all, and it's like at this point he doesn't even really know how to channel. Like he's still trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, but what did he do? What did he do to the fade?
I don't know.
He just hit him with weaves. That's not balefire. I don't know what that is. It's just, oh no, I'm being channeled. You have to channel something.
Yeah.
You can create fire or weaves of air that can literally slice someone in half.
I think
But what did he do?
Fire.
He just withered him. Oh no!
I think he's doing the fire because that's kind of what he was doing.
Where's the fire, Jared? It makes actual fire.
I know, but if you look at him, like he starts to have like fire in his mouth and stuff, and then at the very end, he actually catches fire.
No, that's just channeling energy.
Well, I know, but but keep going because at the end, I'm pretty sure he catches fire. See, he's smoking. See, and he catches fire. He's obliterated.
But it came from inside. That's not silly. That's just, we don't want to afford a prop body, so he's gonna burst into whatever.
Yeah,
it's balefire light. And then they go bang. Maybe maybe there's more than one fade. Who knows? Why do they send one fade after Rand? I don't understand. Don't they already have Rand exactly where they want him? Why is there even a fade? Maybe Lanfear sent the fade, so he has to expose his channeling. Like she's kind of grinning here.
That's what.
And then the whole scene where she's pretending to be offended. It was like it. I don't know what any of it was for.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is it's like,
oh, I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
I guess. It's like it's like it's bad manipulation. It's not even good, like what she's known for doing.
Well, I mean, there were parts of like Rand's discovery here that I liked. Right? Oh, look, he's redhead all of a sudden. But
is it back to red?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they dyed his roots
red. But the thing is, it's like I feel like he expresses, at least in this moment, this sort of challenge that he's been trying to overcome with like, hey, what does it mean for me to challenge or to channel, and so I think that was like this moment wasn't all horrible because I felt like you do get a look into what they're trying to show Rand struggling with, but at the same time, like this whole thing was just Lanfear, and then later they go and they have
bang 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 bang. Okay, I get that she wants to get him on her side and she wants to be understanding, right? Oh, we can't tell Lan, blah blah blah. Okay, and so her idea of getting him on her side instead of being understanding and saying, oh no, I understand you, is to say, don't worry, I understand you because I'm a monster too. She says that line to him. I'm not scared of you because I am also a monster.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be manipulative. What is this?
Yeah. See, but this is where
completely invalidated her acting like she was scared and offended. It makes no sense. The writers don't even know what they're going for.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you just. Also, I'm a monster, and I was pretending when I was mad 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Lanfear would have destroyed anyone who called her a monster. Exactly.
Yeah, that is true.
And then, so she starts channeling, right? She goes down on him, ties him up, and then she starts doing this little shimmer.
Yeah, she was channeling. Yeah, that was weird. I wasn't quite sure what that was about.
I'm a monster too. Is she gonna like show her true face, where she's actually like a blonde or something, and she turns into Lanfear instead of Celine?
See, you can kind of see shimmer.
She starts doing a little shimmer, which is, I guess that's the whole thing from the books where Rand he can't see women channeling, but he knows he can feel when they are channeling.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a monster too. What is she gonna do here? Is she gonna bond him or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yes, there is saw in her eyes when she comes back to life, which is, there's so many stupid fake out deaths in this show. Oh my gosh. They don't even have the decency to give her a new face when she dies. She's supposed to be reincarnated. Oh, I burst out laughing. I was laughing so hard I woke up all the kids at this. She gets stabbed and then slits her throat.
Are you okay?
It's so dumb.
I kind of wanted to see if that sword, if you got a good look at that sword.
Oh, go back to
I don't
the sword?
think you do. I don't think you do there.
It's just so silly. Oh man, and there's already dripping blood. Okay, that's not how blood works, guys. There actually would be not a whole lot of blood on that sword until after it would start spurting, but whatever. It's already dripping from the edge. It looks so CGI and silly. It's so funny. It's so bad. The effects are so bad. Yeah, you can't see if there's a.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Oh my gosh. We gotta run. Hold on. I'm gonna choke you. You can't. Oh, I love that he just like tells her that he loves her or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was weird too. I'm like, really? Well, I mean, he kind of does that in the book though, but he's a teenager.
On you.
So it's like,
oh my gosh. Why not finish the job? Why not like cut off her head or something? It's just, we have to run now. Why? Why would they have to run? They just killed her.
Yeah.
Why do they need to run? That's one of the Forsaken. You were banging Lanfear, dude. I'm trying to play it instead of skip through because when she gets resurrected, you see the black specks in her eyes. See, there you go. Right before she blinks. Is because it's the true power. What's it called? Does that mean she's channeling it or someone else is channeling it? I mean, when it goes in your eyes, that's when you're channeling it, right? The true, whatever. I can't remember what it is.
I don't remember. That's why I'm rereading them.
Surprise. I need to do that. I need to do that in the edit for episode 4. Surprise. Oh, that's a good one. I'll definitely.
But yeah, that didn't make any sense at all.
Dokes. Yep. Yeah, I'll do it.
And again, not in the books.
The death literally means nothing in the show. Like there's no stakes. There's been so many fake outs in season 1 and season 2 together.
Oh, but then they killed Uno off. Is he going to come back then?
Uno? Is Uno still alive? Do we have hope for Uno? No. They shoved his head through a horn. I talked about this last week too. Do you why a horn? Like, what does that have to do with like the Sean Chan aesthetic? Like, it feels very out of place. Like they're supposed to be insect-like, right? Or like they haven't even mentioned that these are the descendants of Arthur Hawkwing, right?
No, not yet.
Like
But
maybe maybe if it was like a beak or something, that would make more sense.
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think the whole idea of like making them bow was interesting, you know.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
from the
like,
books. I mean, in the wrong place, but yeah, that's from the books.
yeah. And so I think the way that they did that was definitely like intimidating. And it looked, it looked scary and it was, I think, but yeah, the whole, I mean, and the thing, like, okay, here's the thing. I don't understand how they literally just have like this whole like trapezoid of stairs, and then they bring it back in just so that they can put that little horn there. I'm like, that whole
It's silly.
design thing. I'm
It's
like,
very
I
silly.
don't understand what you're doing.
It's not a consistent aesthetic. I don't know what it has to do with insects or hawks. It's just we're going to shove people's faces into a horn if they don't kneel. Like, okay, great, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, boys, got to run.
See you, Trip.
Oh, have a wonderful evening, Trip. It's everything they do in the show. It just confuses me.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense. I've definitely not been enjoying watching it because you're like, you get a glimpse of hope when they're like, oh yeah, okay, they're finally getting to this point, but then you're like, how we got here, I have no idea, and why we're doing it this way. It's not making a lot of sense. I told my wife too. I was like, look, here's the thing. It's difficult. So I think, I mean, I definitely agree with a lot of what Corwin was saying, that like it's just not Wheel of Time. They've definitely like put the characters in there and they put some of the lore in there, but like it's not the books at all. They put in these little events to be like, okay, those that you have read, here's a little hint of what you've read. And I don't know if it's because they're trying to keep us, the book readers, in suspense or what. But
I think they have active disdain for the books and they're trying to piss us off.
yeah, and the other thing too, though, is I like the other thing that I think is difficult, though, that I was talking with my wife about, was that it's hard to, because of that, because we don't know, or because clearly they're not following the books, right? Like they've chosen to change the story in some way, but none of those decisions are going to make sense until we get to the very end of the season, where we say, okay, this is what they wanted us to know at the end of this season, like, and this is why they made all those changes, is to get to this point at this end of the season. But so it's kind of hard to judge it on those merits alone, to say, hey, look, like, based on that fact alone, how well does it go towards this end, right? The other thing too that I think is interesting is that there are some aspects of this show that are good, right? Like I do enjoy some, a lot of the set design has looked pretty good.
Music's good.
The music's good. There's a lot of the costumes that are great. I do think that a lot of the actors have been doing mostly a good job, right? Like I
can't stand Leandrin, but go on.
Yeah, there are a few. For sure, there are a few, but for the most part, like the actors are doing a good job. And so I think there are these good aspects, but then you look at the story and you're like, okay, well, the story is really what's hurting it the most. I think is that they've done a lot of great work on a lot of this other part, but the story is just not adding up. And so I'm most interested to see what's going to happen at the end of this season, to see how it all comes together. And I think this is what we said at the first season too.
I don't think it's gonna come together.
Yeah. or hey, maybe it'll fix itself in season 2. I don't know, but but yeah, that's definitely the thing that I'm seeing, is that like, if it stands alone, not being technically like the Wheel of Time story, I mean, there are some acting things, and I think it could be all right, but the story, it's just falling apart because it's not what the book is. And because of that, everyone that watches it is like, what is going on?
Well, I think the Uno death is symbolic of everything that sucks. It doesn't work for book fans, and it doesn't work for non-book fans. It's just it's pointless. They're making changes, trying to be edgy, and it doesn't work on any front.
Yeah, I agree. So unfortunately, that's kind of what I'm seeing with it. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because we were really hopeful for this season.
I know.
And here's the other question. Do you think we'll see a season 3?
Yes. It's already been approved for season 3. I think they already started filming it.
Okay. That is right. I forgot.
Definitely getting a season 3.
Yeah, I forgot.
But depending on how this season is received, that's if it gets renewed for a 4th.
4? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I don't think they stopped production even with the strikes. I think they're still filming.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've got like 5 bad takes, but we could save them for next week. But I could also preview the Devoid of Logic.
Oh, you've got a Devoid of Logic for this?
I have 5 minutes rendered of the first Devoid of Logic for season 2. But I've been so sick, I just haven't been able to finish it.
We can wait. We don't have to rush it today or anything like that.
You don't want a sneak peek? You don't want a sneak peek of my Devoid of Logic video?
Dude, here's the thing. I'm always good for a sneak peek, but I don't want you to give away anything that's going to be awesome.
It's good, and I already uploaded it to YouTube to see if there were copyright problems, and we're clean. We're clean, baby. You want to see it?
That's good, dude. Here's the thing, though. I was trying to find your last week's video. I couldn't find it. Did it get taken down or something?
I didn't have a video last week. I had one 2 weeks ago. The Wheel of Time. See, I did the first one for Wheel of Time season 1.
No, but you guys streamed last week. Not Devoid of Logic. You guys streamed last week.
Oh, it got copyright struck because, but it should still be visible.
Because I couldn't find, I was trying to find it, and I was like, I can't find it.
It was Nerdporial's fault. He made me show a video that got me a copyright.
That's funny.
It shouldn't. It should not. It should still be up. Is what I'm saying.
All right, I'll check it again, but
I can send you a link too.
Maybe it was just on my.
Yeah, it says it's public. It's just ineligible to receive monetization for it's in dispute for another 24 days. They can hold on to money. I mean, I'm not going to make a whole lot of ad money anyway. So,
sure.
Well, they're not going to make any money. They're not running ads on it, so I'll make zero money. But it's fine. This is a live stream. Not as many people watch.
All right. Well, let's see this.
Okay. All right. We'll watch this and then we'll.
Let's see.
I'm really proud of this. It basically doesn't even get into any of episode 1. It's just like precursor stuff.
Okay.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Pulled open. That's about it. Is the volume good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One who was.
Is this a top secret meeting?
Rand Althor. You released me at the eye of the world.
You're blowing my secret identity!
He thinks he can hide. He cannot.
What do you think? Too subtle?
He cannot.
My ring's outside.
He cannot.
Seriously, though, what is it?
Sooner or later, it will be so.
I have come incognito.
In this age or another. Excuse me. We're in the middle of a meeting.
I hate bringing your daughter to work day.
Let me guess. There's something outside. A monster, perhaps. A lot of people call me a monster too, you know.
Tonight, I think we could do this without
compromising our secret true identities.
You released me, I die.
Gosh, yes. Ouch! I hadn't thought of that.
After all, how do you prove you're not a monster? How do you prove that the things you're doing are good or evil, right or wrong?
Woe to them that call evil good and good evil.
Look at this creature. What if he isn't evil? What if he isn't wrong? What if he's just hungry?
It's a metaphor.
Do I look like a monster to you?
Yes.
It's all right. Come on, you try.
I've been reading up on the subject of pedophilia. It turns out that it isn't about sex after all. It's about power.
I think he's just misunderstood.
No, he's not. He is a bad, bad man.
In episode 201, we open with a cabal of dark friends, which is actually taken directly from one of the books.
Except it's not.
When last we left our brave boys,
And, where are they now?
I'll be right there.
Another letter from Mistresses Almira and Alvear.
Just act like nothing ever happened?
No explanation?
got better.
Oh yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Seriously. Yep. It is the same dagger. Yep.
I wasn't super paying attention to what you just said that we'll be doing, but I will give 110%.
When we last saw our hero.
What about my shield? And as much as I love her, as much as I want this, I know that she doesn't.
No.
That woman who doesn't care about being in wisdom, being a nice guy. That's not the woman I love.
Oh, where is he now?
I hate this show so much.
Those are not the same girls.
And as much as I love her, that woman who doesn't care about being in wisdom, being a nice guy. That's not the woman I love.
I guess I lied.
When we last left our hero.
Balance means that you will turn to the shadow, some of you.
So, where is he now?
A dozen letters now, not a single mention of Matt Cawthon.
What happened to his face?
I haven't touched that dagger in 6 months. I am not a threat to you.
Matt, I think, is one of my favorite characters.
Really? Oh, it doesn't show.
I suppose it would be difficult to forgive you for abandoning them.
Matt, I think, is one of my favorite characters because he cuts against the seriousness. He brings a sense of joy and lightness.
That's pretty good.
He is so freaking full of himself.
Yeah, what you're saying, what you do,
characters.
They aren't the same thing.
So I completely destroyed him. Anyway, hopefully I will get that done this week, and I'm gonna have my sister come and watch the kids so I can work during the day and not stay up at night because I need to catch up because we're 4 episodes deep and I haven't even finished one freaking video.
Yeah, it's hard because they came out with 3 at a time.
I know. On top of that, being sick. Screw this show. We'll be back next week complaining about it and not watching Ahsoka.
I might watch Ahsoka.
Oh, I finished watching Well, I read the Riververse. I got my comic book, book 2. Huge improvement on book 1. I liked book 1. It wasn't like everything I hoped it would be. Like it not that's not what I want to say. I'm saying, oh my goodness, did my microphone get muted again? How long have I been like not speaking?
I've been hearing you this whole time.
It just barely jumped. I don't know why. What was I saying?
The book.
I liked book 1. I did have criticisms. I felt like for the price tag, it was kind of short, and I hope they can bring the price down in the future, which is hard to compete with the prices of comics made by DC and Marvel because they're they're not rich anymore, but they just announced for like the 3rd book they can take the price down because they have more negotiating power. But like narrative stories, like not a whole lot happened in book 1. It was good, but it wasn't like game changing. But book 2, I really liked. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
Looking forward to more of it. And I got a shirt and a free hat. So,
Nice.
I look okay in this hat.
That's not a bad hat.
I don't look good in hats, but am I black enough?
Oh,
to
you
wear
are
like a hat like this?
Gothic today, yeah.
No, I mean like I don't know.
I like the color tone. It looks
good.
Yeah, it looks pretty dark, pretty.
So I read that. I finished One Piece because I was sick. I liked it. It was really freaking good.
Yeah, I've never gotten into those.
The live action.
Oh yeah, the one on Netflix
is shockingly good.
I don't have access to Netflix anymore.
Yeah,
so.
I won't tomorrow. we signed up for like 1 month because we needed something from it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what.
Witcher or something like that.
No.
It
wasn't that. No. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. So the live action's pretty good, actually, huh?
I did finish my book though. Jade City. Is that what it's called? Jade City? No. Jade City by Fonda Lee. It's pretty good. I'm looking forward to the next 2, but I got to read my friend's book because I got an advanced copy, baby. I'm privileged. So that's that. I'm going to be doing lots of work and having fun.
Yeah, it sounds like you got your hands full with all the books. I got to keep reading this Wheel of Time.
Are you just going to binge the whole thing?
I don't know.
You should do what I'm doing. You got to pace yourself. So that's what I did the first time. I binged it, and I was like, I kept texting you with updates. What the freak is this? Like, what's going on? It was fun. But yeah, now I'm like, I'll read like 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah, that may be how I have to do it because there are just so many, and the story just is. But the problem is, I think that's kind of how I did it last time. And by the time I got to 13, I was like, I don't remember anything that happened in the first couple books.
I think we should do another book club thing because it was super fun talking about Lightbringer, but it would be more fun if we all had like an active, or recollection of the books.
Yeah, I agree.
We could like put it out beforehand and give viewers the time to read.
Hey, that's not a bad idea because the problem with that last one is we just didn't have any viewers because it was like, okay, we're going to the spoilers, guys.
Everybody stop watching so we can talk about the books now, please.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, as a special treat, I'll show you my hat hair.
Nice. Gotta love hat hair, dude. But yeah, I've got 3 credits on Audible right now, and I don't know what to get with them. So I'm always down for new books.
Dude, Gunmetal Gods, freaking read it.
I should probably look into that one.
It is. You could get all 3 of them. Well, there's a 4th book I didn't know was coming out because I haven't read book 3 yet. I read the first 2, and I was like, "Oh, I'm looking forward to finishing the trilogy." And then the author on Twitter was like, "Okay, this is my progress on book 4," and I was like, what? It's a quadrilogy, you jerk." He's such a nice guy on Twitter.
That's good. We can need more of that.
constantly like promoting indie authors. So
good for him. That's important.
And he follows me.
What?
Yeah.
Way to go, man. Way to go.
Zamil Akhtar. Super cool guy. Great
Nice.
author. Like I've taken, when I eventually start writing, like I'm going to be using a whole lot of stuff that I've learned from him and Brent Weeks, specific, just book 4. Like, and
I'm glad you finally read him. They were,
like this, just the things that they've done in their, Zamil Akhtar, Brent Weeks, and Frank Herbert in Dune.
Oh, that's the next one I was going to read. I actually got those on Audible. I need to read those.
What they managed to pull off, like for Frank Herbert, it's what's the word for it? It's precision. Nothing's wasted. If it's on page, it's for a purpose, and it will come up later.
Oh, kind of like Patrick Rothfuss. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, well, he gets pretty flowery though. He gets Patrick Roth. I love it. He gets pretty far up his own butt. Okay, it's good, but he doesn't need to go.
Okay, there's some of that.
Frank Herbert Dune. It's the just precision. It's absolute, like he doesn't waste any words, and he gets to the point, and you're like, wow. I just had a conversation about people talking, but it's basically like just how good House of the Dragon was, how people could be having a conversation and with words, but they were having a completely different conversation in the, so like Frank Herbert's really good at just consistency, and what's on the page is there for a reason, and you don't need to, if your scene doesn't serve a purpose, take it out of the book, right? So all of these scenes from the White Tower with people talking about their feelings wouldn't exist in a Frank Herbert book, okay? It's so boring. The Wheel of Time is not a CW drama. It's a fantasy epic about good and evil.
Yeah.
Okay. So Frank Herbert's like that. Zamil Akhtar is very similar to what Brent Weeks did in book 4, specifically about how I didn't know you could just move a story along this fast and just do time skips and stuff. But it's almost a different.
That's right. I remember you talking about that.
Like Zamil Akhtar did it first, and then I saw it in book 4, and I was like, wow, this is like that, but like in a different context. And so just wonderful stuff. But in Gunmetal Gods, he's able to. The first 3 chapters is what I thought the entire book was going to be. It's the first chapter sets up, hey, this is like a super interesting political intrigue. There's going to be this, a whole bunch of buildup. And then it happens the next chapter. And then I'm just like, what's the rest of the freaking book about? and then you're like, this is incredible. It just keeps going, and it's almost like ancient storytelling, like spoken word. Before people could write, it was a story that was passed down from generations. It almost feels like that, and that like it's just the important bits, and it didn't throw away any of the political intrigue. It just skipped over everything that was unnecessary. So like I think those 3 authors, like I'm definitely gonna steal not their content but their
methods.
Like if I could just mimic a fraction of that, I'd be happy.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I would agree that they're pretty good at what they do. So
Mark Clark's almost done reading book 2, baby.
I know, I was gonna bring that up. I was like, yeah, Mark Clark, ready to go.
Read that, Lightbringer. Bring some more light into the world.
You know what we'll have to do is maybe we'll have to do a live stream and then have like Mark Clark's impressions on book 2, on the Lightbringer after he's done.
Yeah.
Something.
We'll do a live reaction to Mark Clark watching the end of our stream.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All
that
right,
you can finally watch now. How about that? That'll be content. I don't know if it'll be good.
I don't know.
Anyway, maybe we should do like a Twitter poll. Except no one follows me on Twitter. I have like 40 Twitter X followers.
Yeah, you mean
maybe I'll put out a YouTube poll and ask for comments on what I should read next or what I should force everyone to read. Book club sounds fun. That's basically what we're doing with TV shows, except they all suck now. So let's pick a book and read it.
Yeah,
I know Mark follows you. I'm just saying, I definitely don't have the YouTube following numbers on Twitter, so it would be wiser for me to. I'm not saying no one important follows me on Twitter, but I don't get a lot of engagement on Twitter. I'm trying to build that up. I'm bad at it. I'm bad at Twitter. I'm bad at Discord. I'm okay at YouTube. Okay. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
I don't get any of that stuff. You're doing better than me.
See you guys next week. Yeah. I really hope this is going to be successful, and then my wife can quit her job. That'd be great. I need a lot more views before that happens. But maybe Rings of Power Season 2 will come back.
I don't know if
we'll get another surge eventually with the YouTube. You just got to find something that clicks with the algorithm. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Might be wearing the same clothes. This looks good on stream. It's a good contrast. I painted the walls green so I could do like sketches and stuff, but it really doesn't look good like on stream. But it doesn't look bad if I'm wearing a black shirt.
That's not bad.
This is just it's a really bad location for my computer for live streams. Like I can't have a good like backdrop. This is a big room. I just need to reorganize, but I can't. Because I don't have money yet. So become a channel member so I can buy more computers. Anyway, see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is...
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.